All right, we have another student video coming up here real soon, but first is Miss Emily Roberts. She is the virtual kindergarten teacher at Jefferson City School District, and her topic is how to engage elementary students online.
Hi, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me okay. We had some technical issues earlier, but we figured it out. If you have ever walked into a kindergarten classroom, you know how bright and engaging and colorful they are. Always so inviting, lots of different things to keep kids engaged. I wanted that same experience for my virtual kindergartners, and creating Bitmoji classrooms to engage my students is just one of the things I've learned while teaching virtually. There are a few other key elements that hopefully will help when you're preparing your teachers for online instruction. So building relationships. We know that whether you are in seat or online, building relationships with students is so vital to their success. And I have to admit that I struggled with how I was going to make that work through a computer screen. There's nothing like hugs and high fives when they come into your room every morning. And I needed a way to feel connected and give my kids those opportunities to talk. So we all know kids love to tell you all the things, but if you've ever been on Zoom with younger students, you know that mute button is essential. So each day I keep 4 students in my waiting room with me, and one at a time, I give them 15 minutes of uninterrupted attention to just talk with me. Sometimes I use this for individual assessments, but I also let students show me and tell me about anything that they like. Along with the individual meetings, one of my favorite things to do is send Happy Mail. And you can see up in the corner, that's one of the packages I just got ready for my kids to celebrate the 100th day of school. So they'll get that in the mail soon. I'm not sure my mailman loves me, but I know it's job security for him. Sometimes it's just seasonal stickers, small toys, a note telling them how proud I am of something they've accomplished in class. I can truly say that I feel just as connected to my virtual students as I did to my students in the physical classroom. You can see on here we do some field trips too. We did a field trip with Missouri Department of Conservation. We also carved pumpkins together, which was just a fun activity, but it allowed them an opportunity to get their families involved and spend some time together doing something outside of just listening to me talk all day long. Keeping it moving. Elementary students' attention spans are super short. When you add in that they're in their home environment with their parents there and siblings who may also be doing virtual education, a lot of times the TV in the background and surrounded by all of their favorite things. It was a battle that I really wasn't prepared for. I was definitely naive in thinking they'd just sit intently and listening to my math and reading lessons. I'm sure at first the parents were thinking like, is this lady serious? As you can see though, by the virtual classroom that I showed on the first slide, that math room had so many different options to keep the students engaged, and it was just as bright and colorful as the regular classroom. But this is over planning for me. So each one of these things is a link. Each one of these things goes to a game or a manipulative or a read aloud or a song that we can do together. Or when I notice my students are starting to get disengaged, we can switch it up and change to something and then quickly move back to whatever it is that we were focusing on. And we know all too well that sometimes technology doesn't always work the way we hope it will. So between lessons, we throw in some yoga moves or silly dances, or we count to 100 while doing exercise moves. We make it fun, but with a purpose. Family partnerships is probably the most important for me. The easiest and most effective way to keep my students engaged is to set up a partnership with the families. Unfortunately, like you've heard today by many other people, families truly don't understand completely what is expected of them. And it's vital to the student's success that their parents understand not only how this program works, but what we're expecting from the students, and more importantly, what we're expecting from the parents. We must go out of our way to make sure that parents have all the information before their students log on the first day. Providing an open house gives parents an opportunity to clear up any misconceptions and ask questions before the first day. One of the big differences from in-seat teaching is the environment in which my students are learning. I'm teaching students from their kitchens, their bedrooms, from their living rooms. There's lots to see and hear in someone's home, especially when they think that mute is on, and it might not be. But while it is still their home, it is still my classroom. From the beginning, I set my expectations and my rules for success. If students aren't following directions or they're not working, I redirect them. And I've found that by having that partnership with the families, they reinforce my expectations and they assist me when I need the help, which helps my students understand that we're a united front, the parents and the teacher together. And together we can ensure the success of our students, we can provide meaningful experiences, and we can definitely keep them engaged while having fun. So my key takeaway is, as educators, we can't ever expect it to be cookie cutter. Our kids aren't cookie cutter, so we can't expect the experience to be cookie cutter. Launch does a really great job of providing the framework, the training, the curriculum, but in the end, you know your students and you have to do what's best for them to help them learn and grow.
All right, thank you.
I want to take your class, Mrs. Roberts. Can you be my teacher? Hey, we did have a question come in, and you may not be able to answer this, so I don't want to put you on the spot as a teacher. So
okay.
So one of the questions that came in was just about meeting students with disabilities in that kind of Bitmoji class. So just so everybody on the webinar is aware, the base content from Launch comes accessible to most disabilities, and we outline that with students. Emily, do you have any students that you have to make accommodations for when you've kind of created some of those additional manipulatives in Bitmoji classroom?
I do. Even at kindergarten, I have students kind of all over the learning spectrum. And so you just want to make sure that the things that you have are not only accessible. So one of the things I do is each week when I send my newsletter, I send a PDF version of all of my slides for the week, so that if my students don't necessarily grasp the topic or need to see it again or in a different way, the parents have those slides each week and they can utilize them to best see the news, fit the needs of those specific students. So
great, thank you. You're also getting job offers in the Q&A, so
absolutely. Call me. Now my district won't be happy with that.
Yeah, they're probably not going to be happy, but good job. We've got some interested principals on the call, so
okay.
Thank you so much. You're such a light. Thank you.